So for the quicker beef pho, I'm using a thin sliced steak cut, which is usually available at the Asian markets. If you can't get it thin like this, don't worry. Take a nice steak cut, freeze it for about 40 minutes until it's almost frozen, slice it with a nice sharp knife, and you're good to go. These are the rice stick noodles for pho. Make sure to buy extra in case you mess up your first batch. Also, when I was a kid, stocking these shelves, they were my favorite things to stock, not like those 50-pound rice bags. So the last thing we're gonna need for pho is fish sauce. It might sound a little weird if you're not used to using it, but it's such an important ingredient to Vietnamese and Thai cuisine. Make sure you're getting the one that's amber in color and nice and clear. So we're back from the market. Let's start the prep for the quicker beef pho. I'm gonna start with vegetables and then move on to making my stock. So I'm gonna need onions kind of two ways. I'm gonna take the top, the bottom, and then I like to peel the onion while it's in half like this. I developed this pho dish because everybody likes to eat pho, but no one wants to make the 2-day broth. This is a really nice kind of hybrid version where you get the aromatics from all your spices, but you're not gonna sit there and roast bones and literally wait 2 days. This pho is really the perfect elixir. You know, when the kids are kind of in from school, they're sick, the weather's really cold, there's nothing more comforting or warming than having a nice bowl of noodles and pho broth. I'm cutting the half of the onion paper thin for the top of the pho broth. The idea is that super hot broth is poured over the noodles with the onions on it, and these onions kind of melt in but still keep some texture. So the other half of the onion I'm gonna use for stock. So I'm just gonna rough chop it into large pieces. These onions are making me cry. I'm starting to think about my kids when they're sick. This is so sad. As you can see with the ginger, I've just left the skins on and I'm slicing them into thin pieces to get a lot of surface area for the stock. With the scallions, I'm just slicing them into thin slices with a little bit of a bias for garnish. I'm cutting a lot of garnishes, but what's cool about pho is it's kind of like a choose your own adventure dish. You leave all the garnishes out and whoever is coming to eat the pho kind of builds their own pho the way they like it. These are red serranos. They're kind of the perfect chili because they're not too hot. I just cut a ton of these and leave them on the plates, and whoever likes heat can go for it. And the last ingredient is gonna be lime. I'm just cutting the wedges off the side, kind of leaving the middle seed pod alone. And you leave these out for whoever wants a nice shot of lime to make the pho a little sour. Come in, come really, really tight. The first spice is star anise. It looks like a little star. It smells like Christmas if you think about it. All these 3 spices you buy during the holidays for like cider and you never use them again, so here's the perfect place to use them. So star anise is there. Cloves. Cloves look like little kind of reedy sticks with a little spice ball right on top. And then cinnamon. I know you've got a ton of this laying around from the holidays. So what I'm gonna do is make a really cool satchel. So check this out. In a little plate, I've got some cheesecloth. In the middle of the cheesecloth, I'm gonna lay all the spices in. And they're really overwhelming, and that's why I'm making a satchel, because I can actually put it in the stock, and once it's flavored, if I could pull it out. If I just dumped a ton of spices in the stock, it could overwhelm and taste like Christmas beef stock, which is not delicious, although beef pho is delicious. I'm just wrapping it up into a nice, clean little packet. So I like using butcher twine here because I want to be able to tie this off and be able to pull it in and out of the stock. These are really delicious, but they can go a long way if you leave them in. So let's build the pho broth. First thing we're gonna start with is beef base. I know, controversial, some of you are gonna give me a hard time, but I need you to trust me. Trust me on this. I'll get you to delicious pho. This is where you're gonna save 2 days of cooking right here. Beef base is exactly as its name implies. It gives you that nice beef flavored foundation. A really quick note on fish sauce. It's such a fundamental ingredient in Vietnamese food. Now, you know the bottle that's been sitting in your fridge for about a year? It's time to get rid of it because it's probably gone opaque and totally dark like soy sauce. Really fresh fish sauce should be amber and totally translucent in color, just like this. A little more salt, because fish sauce is definitely on that seafood side. I want to go straight salt to give a clean saltiness to kind of boost up that beef flavor. We want to balance those flavors with a little bit of sugar. And now the aromatics, and the aromatics are ginger and onion. I'm gonna let this broth come to a simmer for about 40 minutes and let the onions and garlic marry right into the broth. The last step to finish this broth is adding all the spices from the sachet. Be mindful to not oversteep these. When these are done, you're gonna pull it right out and then you're ready to serve the pho. You're gonna wanna simmer the spices for about 30 to 45 minutes until you just taste all these kind of amazing aromatics. So it's been about 30 minutes. I just wanna taste this before I pull the sachet out. I distinctly taste all the spices, but they're not overpowering. So it's time for the sachet to go away. So my broth is finished, all the garnish is ready. Let me show you how to build this bowl. We're starting with some rice stick noodles that have been soaked and soft. You can also use fresh rice stick noodles here. I'm gonna bundle them into the basket and just give them a really quick dip to cook them. You know, if you don't have one of these noodle baskets at home, a regular colander or sieve is gonna be fine. So just a few seconds in the hot water, drain them well, and then put right into the bowl. So noodles are in. This is the choose your own adventure part. And don't be scared to just do it any way you like it. There is no wrong way. My favorite pho combo is fully loaded, meaning every single garnish plus a ton of sriracha and a ton of hoisin. And if you're gonna do the rare thin beef, make sure to put it on top because it looks really cool there. And don't worry, this is so thin that when that hot broth hits it, it's gonna cook it right away. You wanna make sure that your broth is ripping hot because you want it to cook the meat and then really kind of marry all those flavors together. One of my favorite dishes of all time right here. Feel free to do a little more garnish on the top. I like some scallions, some chilies, a little bean sprouts, and you are good to go. So hoisin and sriracha, it's a total choice situation. Some people like to shoot it in and mix it into the soup, or some people like to dip. I'm more of a dipper than putting the hoisin and sriracha inside. I wanna pull some of the noodles and build a little nest of noodles into the middle of the spoon. Add your favorite garnishes. Make sure I've got a little onion, I've got some cilantro, all those really fun goodies in there. Then I take the beef and I do a little dipper and make sure it's touching both sauces. Into the spoon, gather some soup. There's really nothing more kind of complex yet comforting than a great pho broth. You've got all the flavors from the spices, you've got all these fresh herbs, and then the core of it is this delicious tender beef and the beef broth. This really is an amazing dish. So instead of green onions, I'm gonna pick up some garlic chives. I love them because they really smell and taste like a cross between onions and garlic, and it's actually a traditional nod to old school pad thai. So it's time for baked tofu. This is great for wok cooking because it doesn't fall apart. It's also pre-marinated in a little soy sauce, so I love this for pad thai. This is not the stuff in water that breaks up. Don't use this for the wok, use the baked tofu. Tamarind is an essential flavoring for pad thai. Instead of using the whole fruit, which can be cumbersome, go for the liquid tamarind. It might say tamarind concentrate or liquid tamarind on the bottle. It's correct, especially if it's from Thailand. So before I check out, I wanted to get some banana leaves. I'm gonna use it as a really great plating implement, but traditionally they've steamed food in it, they cook food with it. It's a very cool way to make your pad thai look awesome. All right, Mom, you know what we're making? Can you guess by my ingredients?
Pad Thai.
Pad Thai, very good, excellent. Do you know how to use this machine? Have you not been on the cashier long enough? Who taught you how to make Pad Thai?
Truth,
don't do TV talk, real talk.
No. I mean, you.
That's right, see, there you go. I got it on film, exactly right. Man, can we get another cashier here? This is really, I'm just kidding, it's taking forever. Basically, for the price of going out to eat pad thai, I'm stocking my pantry. So if you get a little bit of sticker shock here, don't worry. You're building your Asian pantry as you go, and you're gonna be able to use these ingredients to make just about everything. All right, guys, so we're back from the store. It's time to get prepped for our pad thai. The first thing we need to really do is soak these noodles. Don't ever boil these noodles. Very simply soak them in warm water. And warm water means warm bath water. So you're like, oh, that feels comfortable. I'd take a bath in that water. That's the right temperature. The noodles actually have to go through like 3 steps of cooking. This step is soaking to reconstitute. The next will be frying in the pan, and then the sauce goes in and they absorb all the sauce. Super simple. So I got the noodles soaking. Let's move on to more pad thai prep. The next thing I'm gonna cut is the savory tofu. So like any other protein, I just wanna cut this into a nice thin plank. So half first, and then line it both halves and cut them into thin little planks. As long as they're even and you can pick them up with a chopstick, they are a good size. So next I'm gonna do garlic chives. Now, you just wanna simply cut them into about 2-inch lengths on a bias, meaning instead of perpendicular, angle the knife, boop. There you go, just like that. Super simple. If you can't find garlic chives, don't freak out, just use scallions. All right, those are done, and always garlic. Just smash, 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 and then rough chop. You don't wanna mince these too fine because you don't want really fine garlic playing with 400-degree oil, because that's instant garlic charcoal. No bueno. So finally, I'm gonna show you a cool peanut trick. These are roasted peanuts, not salted. You can do the knife, but why knife it when you have a saucepan? And you're just simply gonna lean and press using the edge of a saucepan. And you get these kind of fun, uneven, big chunky shapes. And I'm not looking for absolute uniform peanuts because I want that kind of texture variance when I eat this. Boom, super easy. Peanuts are chopped. Now, let's get to that banana leaf we bought at the store. These are actually really cool. They basically come right off the banana tree, and they're giant. We're just gonna use them as a little plate garnish, and I'm gonna show you what I mean. So I'm grabbing a little bowl kind of as a stencil. I know Anne Burrell gets really mad at me for doing this, but that's the only way to get the leverage that I need to punch out this circle. So I'm following the lines of the bowl. One way, I'm gonna come around the other way, and it's even, steady pressure. Now holding this down, lifting away the banana leaf, and hopefully I've done my job, and voila, perfect little circles. Aw, there you go, boom. This is done, let me move on to protein and sauce, and we're ready to cook. Thai people believe in balancing 5 flavors: hot, sour, salty, sweet, and savory, also known as the yum. All that word means is the balance of hot, sour, salty, and sweet. First ingredient, fish sauce. It's salt and savoriness. After that, a little bit of vinegar, but we're actually gonna use 3 kinds of sour. Vinegar was 1, lime juice, and tamarind. Now, as we know, tamarind is a fruit that grows around the equator. It has a nice sour and sweet flavor. All right, 3 sours in. Now we have to balance the salty and the sour with a little sweet, and that's just gonna be sugar. So for heat, traditionally, pad thai in Thailand is made with sriracha. And now it's delicious, but if you're serving people who don't like heat, paprika is the perfect balancing point. Paprika, as we know, adds a lot of color because it is a pepper, but it's not too spicy. I like using both for this dish. So I'm just gonna bring all these flavors together. You wanna stir this up until the sugar dissolves. I mean, that's it. It's a lot of ingredients, but balanced together, they make a really phenomenal flavor. I just need to cut my protein, and we're in the pan. For this dish, I'm gonna be using chicken thigh. I think chicken thigh is nice and moist. It doesn't really dry out. I just want you to cut these into nice thin strips. So kind of cut large pieces in half first, find that grain, and then cut the chicken thigh into thin strips against the grain. Really just looking for even kind of bite-sized pieces when using chicken thighs. I'm gonna clean this down, wash my hands, and let's get cooking. I'm using a short enamelized cast iron pan, which is gonna hold heat amazingly. Always high temp oil, getting this pan very hot. And I can see the oil kind of shimmering and little wisps of white smoke starting. So I am starting with the dried shrimp, the garlic, the tofu. I'm just gonna saute these up until they start to lend their flavors to the dish. Now it's time for chicken. I wanna get this chicken seared on the outside, but still nice and rare in the middle, because there's a lot more to cook. When using eggs with noodles or rice, here's a cool technique. I want you to push all of the hot stuff in the pan against one side, pool up a little bit of oil on that open area, and we're gonna crack our eggs right into there. Don't scramble them yet. Let them kind of set and cook up, whites separated from yolks. And once they start to fry up a little bit, then you can kind of bring all the items together. With the eggs not cooked through yet, I want to pull the noodles right out of that water. And check it out. Just in a little bit of time, the noodles have gone from firm to nice and soft. And you want all that extra moisture in the pan to help create steam. So I've judged a ton of food TV, and most people get in most trouble with these noodles. They end up boiling them and then trying to stir fry them again. That is not the right way to go. You want to soak like we did and then get them into the pan, and that's how you get that beautiful kind of slippery, chewy texture that this pad thai noodle has. And if you end up over soaking them or do make the mistake of boiling them, just start over, get a new batch. They're super cheap. So the noodles look soft and cooked down. I'm gonna make a little nice area for the shrimp to be able to cook through. Let's get that shrimp to the bottom so all that heat can start cooking them through. And I'm also gonna throw in that pickled daikon right now. So this is just pickled daikon radish, the white radish. Instead of being sour pickled like a lot of the Japanese or Korean, this is very sweet. So it's got a very bold sweet and slightly sour flavor. Don't be scared to really kind of work all the ingredients in the pan. Scraping is totally okay because you want to scrape the bits up before they start to burn. All right, so my shrimp are about halfway. It's time to add the sauce. So the sauce is actually gonna start to boil immediately. That's gonna create some steam. It's actually gonna deglaze the pan and get all those delicious bits up to the top. And I really wanna just work the noodles and all of the ingredients together to really soak up all those 5 flavors. Here's a really fun trick to kind of cooking up the vegetables. I'm gonna make a bed, right, by kind of really laying everything out evenly. And I'm gonna add half my bean sprouts because I wanna leave some for plating. Some peanuts, leave some again for plating, and those garlic chives. And I want indirect heat here. I want to be able to steam these vegetables so they can kind of impart their flavors and not singe them. So I'm just tucking them in, reading them a story. It's time to put them to bed. Let them steam up for a few seconds before you plate this dish up. So heat's going off. I'm constantly kind of visually checking how much moisture is in this pan because pad thai should be moist, not dry, but it shouldn't be wet. So if I pull up the pad thai and it's dripping sauce, it's too wet. If it's too wet, just let it reduce a little longer. On the other side, if it's a little too dry, you can use the pasta water trick, meaning that soaking water can be added in there to just kind of hydrate the noodles a little more. So I'm gonna lay the banana leaf right in the middle, kind of like how they plate it if you're eating this in the streets of Bangkok. Let's lay my pad thai down right in the middle. And you always wanna put the goodies at the top, right? I mean, everyone wants to see the nice shrimp and the tofu right on top, so I like to arrange them kind of right around. Bring this over here, do some final garnishes, a little lime, some of the bean sprouts, and then some of my reserved peanuts. Starving. Just looking at this is making me hungry. So there it is, the Tila family pad thai recipe since 1972, believe it or not. Really one of my favorite dishes. Most of you know that I'm the culinary ambassador to Thailand, but what you don't know is I'm ethnically Chinese. Both cultures actually use noodles. So for good lo mein, look for an egg noodle pasta similar to this. Any shape will do, as long as it's nice and springy. So no lo mein is complete without baby bok choy. In my opinion, it has great texture, color, and flavor, and is perfect in lo mein. So now that we're back from the market, let's get prepped out on our lo mein. I like to break up prep into 3 parts. First is gonna be sauce, second will be vegetable prep, and then finally, protein. So let's get started on sauce. In a nice clean bowl, I'm always gonna start with chicken stock. Chicken stock is gonna be the base of this sauce because it's neutral, but it has a nice savoriness to it. To create a glaze, I want to use cornstarch. So as you know, when cornstarch heats up, it's gonna thicken into a sauce consistency. So the next ingredient is gonna be soy sauce. You've used soy sauce a million times. You know it's salty and you know it provides a nice savoriness, but it also starts giving you that brown sauce color. Next is the king of all Chinese sauces, it's oyster sauce. Now, I know oyster sauce sounds a little scary because not everyone loves oysters, but using oyster sauce isn't like eating raw oysters out of the ocean. When you dry out the oysters and add them to the soy sauce base, it creates a phenomenal kind of sweet and savory flavor. And then finally, for a little bit of aroma, you want a little sesame oil. You don't ever want to stir fry with sesame oil because it has a low smoke point, but you do want to use just a little bit for some really amazing kind of aromatic notes. Just think about the lo mein sauce as a marriage of all these flavors and textures. The chicken stock gives you kind of a neutral base, cornstarch helps thicken, oyster sauce and soy sauce give you savory, sweet, and salty, and then sesame oil gives you a little aroma. So our sauce is done, let's move on to our vegetable prep. I like to start with aromatics, and some of my favorite aromatics in the Chinese kitchen are gonna be ginger and garlic. I think a lot of people are scared of ginger. Don't be. There's no reason to be. This is how you wanna take ginger down. Firstly, take off all the little fingers, square off the ginger, and I know my grandma would be mad that I'm throwing that away, but I'm sorry, Grandma. It's cheap and plentiful, we'll be okay. Squaring off the ginger on all sides, and you know that you've squared it off when it stands up straight. And you could just take the back of the knife and use it as a lever, right? And I'm just scraping the skin away. And just continue to do this on all sides. And once you kind of get down to the bottom where the skin is all the way around, just use that cutting edge and just push. Once the ginger is completely peeled through, I just want you to, again, square it off. And just remember, tile becomes a slice becomes a dice. So I'm gonna cut 1/8 inch tiles here. Gather those 1/8 inch tiles together and then cut them into 1/8 inch slices. Boom. Blades of grass, 1/8 inch slices. So ginger done. With garlic, don't overthink it. Give it a smash. Like I said, that's a tile. If I smash something flat, it becomes a tile. So 2, 3. So my garlic is flat into a tile. I can cut it into thin slices. And then if I want to take it down further, I do a 1/4 turn. And then a slice becomes a dice. And you don't need to take garlic down any further than that because it's gonna be hanging out in a 400-degree pan, and you want it thick enough so it can kind of saute, add its flavor, and not really burn. So the next ingredient is gonna be scallions. I like to cut them in half first, put a slight angle on the knife, and then give it a slice this way. And look, I know it tastes the same, but it looks way cooler. And if it looks cooler, it'll plate cooler. If it plates cooler, people are gonna think, wow, you're an awesome chef, and it looks super delicious. Our main green in lo mein is gonna be bok choy. Translation, bok choy means white vegetable. Obviously, it looks green. As it matures, it turns totally white in the stalk, and that's why it's called bok choy. I've just cut off the thickest part of the bulb, and you're gonna discard that. And now you're left with these kind of top leaves. And you're gonna do 45-degree cuts, thinner pieces of the stalk, larger pieces of the leaves. Because what happens is the stalks are denser and the leaves are more delicate. So if you cut the stalk smaller and the leaves bigger, they cook at the same rate. So my grandma always taught me that lo mein was the perfect dish to kind of clean out what was left in the fridge. Now I've got bok choy. Let's see what else I could use to kind of boost up this lo mein. So I found some carrots. Now I like these because they give color, they're crunchy, and they're super sweet. I'm gonna show you how to make a coin julienne. Now I think a lot of chefs are like, oh, juliennes, you gotta square off all these pieces. No, this is the easy way to do it. Super extreme bias, meaning I want a lot of surface area, cutting these into about a 1/4 inch thick, just like that. Real simple. Lay the coins on top of each other, and I want you to take these tiles into slices. So the reason why I'm cutting juliennes is because I want the carrots to cook very quickly, because carrot is usually dense, and I want to kind of give a nice visual pop to the lo mein. And you've just cut carrot julienne. So I'm done with the vegetables. I need to get them off the board because I'm moving on to raw chicken, because those things should never cross. Now, on cooking shows, you see a ton of these bowls. Don't do it that way. Take one plate, put it down, put all the vegetables on this plate, which means you don't have 5 bowls to wash, you just have one, which makes life a lot easier and keeps your partner from getting angry at you. There you go. So the last part of the lo mein prep is the protein. I'm gonna be using chicken breast today. It's totally up to you as to what you prefer. Dark meat, white meat, it's all good. The most important thing is you wanna cut this into nice thin tiles, and let me show you what I'm talking about here. So this is half a chicken breast. I'm gonna trim off any fat that there is, and then I'm gonna kind of follow the grain first, so I can see the grain kind of running this way. I'm gonna cut with the grain into about 2 to 3 inch wide pieces, and then take one of those pieces and now go against the grain. So when I do a slice, it's gonna give me a really nice thin plank. The reason why I'm doing a nice thin plank is because you want the chicken to sear very quickly, cook evenly, but still be moist in the middle. If the chicken's kind of in funky pieces that are uneven, the chicken won't cook evenly. Now, this rule also applies to just about any other protein, including tofu. So now that the chicken's cut, I'm gonna bowl it up, clean everything down, wash my hands, and let's get cooking. The number one question I get with stir fry is, what kind of pan do I need? Do I need a wok? And the answer is no, not at all. My favorite is an enamelized Dutch oven because it's cast iron and holds heat. If you don't have that, a simple pan with high sides that gets hot is totally fine. Another important rule for any stir fry is the pan has to be ripping hot. And what I mean by that is when you get your high temperature oil in, you're gonna start to see white smoke. And once that smoke starts going, you gotta get everything into the pan in the right sequence. So I like using a neutral oil like canola or peanut. I don't like using olive oil or sesame oil. All right, so I'm seeing little wisps of white smoke. I'm gonna add first my aromatics, which are garlic and ginger. I'm gonna just saute these ingredients up until I smell them. I'm not really worried about color because there's a long way to go with all these ingredients. All right, next, chicken. Because chicken takes a while to cook, I wanna get it in sooner. Don't be scared to utilize the surface area of the pan. Really use the entire pan to cook your dish. I'm looking for that chicken to get about halfway because I'm always thinking about what the total cook time of all the ingredients are. The next thing is don't be scared to scrape as you go, because if you're scraping them up now, they won't stick and they won't burn. All the little delicious bits of brown are gonna add to the overall flavor. I mean, in French, we call this fond. Think about that as the foundation of all these flavors you're developing. So the chicken is about medium. I wanna add my vegetables now, reserving those scallions for the top. This dish brings back a lot of memories of my grandma taking me to Chinatown as a kid on the bus, her playing mahjong, us eating dim sum, and then buying all the groceries we needed for that night. You know, she really was my first cooking instructor as a kid. It was pretty obvious that I wasn't gonna be a rocket scientist, so she was like, let's get this kid a trade. So I really got some one-on-one cooking attention from a very young age. I spent more than 10,000 hours in the kitchen next to my grandma cooking this dish. The veggies are moving along really well. The chicken isn't all the way cooked through yet. This is a good time for my noodles. It's gonna be tough to find a noodle package that actually says lo mein. What you're really looking for in the package is something that's called egg noodle. It's got this kind of nice pale yellow color, and the ingredients should have wheat and eggs in it. If you don't have Asian noodles, don't freak out. I really love using things like fettuccine for this dish. You can cook the fettuccine al dente, rinse it off, let it dry out, and then add it to the pan here. So all the ingredients have cooked through a bit. I'm just gonna add my sauce in there, making sure to really stir that sauce really well to get all the cornstarch in. As the sauce thickens, it really becomes lo mein. I know a lot of you have heard the word chow mein versus lo mein. All chow really means is crispy noodles. So chow mein means crispy noodles with gravy on top. Lo mein means soft noodles in a nice, really thick gravy. Lo in Chinese just means to stir. It's like imagine stirring these noodles into that beautiful gravy as it's tightening up. And you know, Chinese food's been in America for over 200 years. This here is OG lo mein. So what I'm looking for is the cornstarch to start activating, meaning it's starting to thicken up the sauce and it becomes a really nice glaze. Once that starts happening, turn the pan off and just let this continue to cook and all of the noodles and vegetables absorb this beautiful gravy that you've made. So you wanna make sure to keep these noodles as long as possible. It's kind of bad juju to break your noodles because noodles kind of symbolize your long life. And I wanna get as much gravy on there as possible. So the lo mein is down and I just wanna garnish now with those simple sliced scallions.